Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I'm having a very mellow day today. A very mellow day. I'm like so calm and relaxed. I haven't even really had much coffee today. I put together this whole iced coffee. I drank a little bit of it, and I was like, I think I'm gonna start making some videos. So I did. So I filmed a Peter Does Stuff video, and now here we are. All right, so part of it is because I filmed a drama video late last night, and so I was like, I only have to make a couple videos today when I get up. My plan was maybe I would go to the pool, but it's so cloudy and hot outside. I was like, no, it's not a good day to go to the pool. So anyway, I brought the Melody Beatty books with me today, and I thought that we would read one of the meditations and see where it takes us. Okay, so today is June 19th. Let's get into the language of letting go and see what the meditation is for today. Making life easier. Good one. Let's look in the Journey to the Heart and see what it says for today. June 19th. Your heart will guide you through. Let's read Making Life Easier. That one sounds good. Making life easier, June 19th. Life doesn't have to be hard. Yes, there are times we need to endure, struggle through, and rely on our survival skills. But we don't have to make life, growth, recovery, change, or our day-to-day affairs that hard all the time. Having life be that hard is a remnant of our martyrdom, a leftover from old ways of thinking, feeling, and believing. We are worthy even when life isn't that hard. Our value and our worth are not determined by how hard we struggle. If we're making it that hard, we may be making it harder than it needs to be, said one woman. Learn to let things happen easily and naturally. Learn to let events and our participation in them fall into place. It can be easy now, easier than it has been. We can go with the flow, take the world off our shoulders, and let our higher power ease us into where we need to be. Today I will stop struggling so hard. I will let go of my belief that life and recovery have to be hard. I will replace it with a belief that I can walk this journey in ease and peace, and sometimes it can actually be fun. This is a good meditation, but I can tell you that this is always a meditation that kind of gets me into some trouble over here. There's at least one or two people that kind of take offense to that. It's interesting because in recovery, we say these things if somebody says something you're real resistant to it, that maybe you should take a look at that. Maybe it's something that you have in yourself, right? But this word martyrdom is really interesting to me, especially used in this context of talking about making life really hard. Have you ever known the person that it's every time you talk to them, no matter and I've talked a lot about catastrophizing situations in the last couple months, right? Of whether, traffic is really slow or somebody in your family just passed away, they're always 10s, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not bad at all, 10 being off the charts, the worst day in the entire world. There are people that constantly live at 9 and 10, right? Everything that happens to them. Oh my God, can you believe this? They didn't have green beans at the grocery store. Oh my God, I just found out that grandma passed away. Oh my God, can you believe this? They didn't have tickets to the movie. It's everything is catastrophic. Have you ever known anybody like that? When you call them up on the phone, or if you're meeting them for lunch, you don't want to even meet them for lunch anymore, because literally every time you meet them for lunch, you know how it's going to go, right? That you're sitting there waiting, you're excited to see your friend, you haven't seen them for a while, and then they walk in the door, and it's they're like, oh my God, I've had such a day. You have no idea. I couldn't get the kids up for school, and then it was late going to school, and then they were 5 minutes late to school, and I had to go inside, I had to do this, and then Pilates class was running late, and then they didn't have my favorite water at Pilates class, and then after that I had to go to the grocery store, and then blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And I'm not talking about real issues, okay? I'm talking about when you want to complain nonstop about nonsensical things that everybody in the world deals with, right? That's what I'm talking about. People that have amazingly blessed lives, and I think to give themselves some kind of purpose, they complain about everything. They're oh my God, I'm so busy, I have so much to do. I had book club today, and I had Pilates today, and I had tennis class today, and I'm okay. And what's interesting to me, right, is that I always felt bad in the past, when I would be around people like that, because my immediate response was always very negative. I wouldn't say anything, but inside, my internal response would just be God, could you quit complaining for 5 seconds? Literally all you do is complain, right? That's it. All you do is your whole life is complaining, right? And you have a very blessed life. I have known many people in my life that have beyond blessed lives, right? I'm not saying they haven't had their fair share of trouble here or a death here or, whatever, a hardship. I'm saying that by and large, their lives are pretty blessed. We all have crap in our lives, right? We all have stuff. But, it's like you're not complaining about, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have 30 cents in the bank and I can't pay my mortgage tomorrow. My kids are sick. I can't afford daycare. I have to go to work 2 jobs tonight. We have no food. I mean, that's a completely different complaint, okay? I'm talking about people that make up hardships. Like, they make their life harder than it is, right? Instead of being like, oh wow, I'm so blessed that I got to get up today and take my kids to school. I'm so blessed that I got to get up and go to Pilates class today, or that I got to go have lunch with my friends, or that I get to go and have dinner with my husband or my family tonight, right? Or that I got something that I get to go return, or I'm so, I'm so, instead of being grateful for I have to do this and I have to do that, or I get to do this or I get to do that, it's always I have to do this and I have to do that, right? Do you know anybody like that? I feel like I've known a couple people like that, and after 20, 40 lunches, I just didn't do it anymore. I'm just like, I'm not, like, I have better things to do, like sit on my front porch and talk to my neighbor about cozy mysteries. I would rather spend the time doing that, okay, than I would going and listen to somebody complain. I am very much a chameleon of emotions when I'm around people. If I'm with somebody, and they are being very, very negative, I can fall into that very easily. And that's my responsibility, right? To not fall into that. If I'm around somebody that's like dancing and they're happy and they're uplifted and things like that, then I kind of like follow that as well. What I've learned through the years is that I need to be around people that even when they're going through struggles, they can still find gratitude. Even when they're having hard days, they can find gratitude, right? Like, they can find not that they're just dancing all the time, right? There's moments for sadness, there's moments for tears, there's even moments for anger and fear, right? But that doesn't mean that in those moments you go away from everything in your life, right? I have had friends of mine, I've shared the story on my vlog and probably over here too, that I had a friend of mine that she had cancer, I think for like 7 years, was in and out of all these different treatments and things like that, and passed so gracefully, and I remember when I first talked to her about it, and she said to me, I've always been so worried about everybody else, and now for the first time, this has allowed me to back burner everybody else's issues and take care of myself first. And she did. Like, stylistically, she was like, I'm going to wear what I want to wear. I'm going to do what I want to do. She learned to scuba dive. She learned to go here. And those last 7 years of her life, she never complained. She was never like, oh my God, I have chemo or anything like that. She would just always be like, yeah, I have chemo today and I'm going to read this book and I'm really excited about this book I started. And it was just with such grace, I've had friends of mine that have had transplant, surgeries, just one recently, and the way they handle it is just with such grace. Like, don't complain at all, right? And yet I've known people that will complain about every little thing in their life, and it's just like, what's the point? Are you this martyr of like, I do so much in this world because you have to bring yourself some kind of like happiness over how hard you do things? It's like when people are like, oh, I take care of this person. They constantly are telling you what they do. Angels here on earth are people that do things for other people and take care of a lot of stuff and stay completely silent and don't say anything. They don't sit there and tell you like how many dinners they've made and what they do for their kids and what they do for their parents and whatever. They just do it, right? Like, they just do it. I will never, ever forget this most valuable lesson that I learned from my friend Tanya. I was having a really bad day, okay? And by really bad day, I mean today I would score it as a 3, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10. It was not that bad. And I called Tanya like twice that day. And then we were like getting a fountain pop and whatever. And I was going on and on and on about this situation that had happened. It was so petty and so stupid. I don't even remember how it started, right? And she was just real silent through all of it. And finally I was just like, oh, enough about me. What did you do today? I've been there. I've been that person that complains. Not every single day, but that day I was. And at that time, one of Tanya's best friends, like she and her husband, their best couple friend, he was really, really sick. He had a brain tumor. And I said, what did you do today? And she said, well, I went over to their house and This was like towards the end before he passed away. And she said, I went over to their house and I got them some movies from the Redbox. And she was like, so they could just watch movies all day together. And then I cleaned their house and I made them dinner. And then I just let them spend some time alone. And I made sure that everything else was taken care of around the house so they didn't have to worry about any of it. It literally stopped me in my tracks, right? It's literally the epitome of when you're in selfishness, do something for somebody else to get out of yourself. And in that moment, I just was wowed. And I remember looking at Tanya and I said, I want to be that person. Like, how do you get to be that person? And she's like, it's who I was taught to be in recovery. It's who I was taught to be. Like, you get out of yourself, right? And so today, when I find myself complaining and whatever, I also find myself trying to pick up the phone next and asking somebody else if they need something from me, you know, or going to one of my neighbors, my neighbor up the street, like, she can't get out of her house very well, and so, like, I'll go help her and say, like, you know, I noticed your trash cans are still out. Can I push them up? Is there anything else you need me to do, you know? And it's about doing those kinds of things. I'm not going to sing my praises about everything. I don't need to say those things, right? But, like, I'm just giving those as examples of ways to get out of yourself. Call somebody else up and ask them how their day is going. When your day is going, like, that really bad, and you need to just get out of yourself, I'm not talking about the really hard stuff, okay? I'm not talking about the sickness, the death, all the firings of jobs, having to move, the not paying bills. Those are things that we have a right to be upset about, okay? I'm talking about the low stuff, okay? The petty stuff. On one of those days when you're feeling sorry for yourself, or if you're feeling sorry for yourself on a pretty regular basis for your situation of whatever it is, then pick up the phone and call somebody and ask them how their day is going. And don't talk about your day, you know? And just be like, what can I do for you? What can I do to make your day better? You know, get out of self a little bit. It's hard to do some days, you know. I feel like I have met so many people in my life that I think it's how we respond to the world and life with kindness and with grace and respect for having another day to be here, right? I feel like I've known a few people in my life that they just take everything for granted, you know? And it's interesting because I've known a couple people that will constantly say things like, oh my God, I love this and I love that and whatever, but then they're constantly complaining about every small thing, right? Oh, I have to get an oil change for my car. Well, you have a car. There are a lot of people that don't have a car, you know? Oh my God, I can't believe that I have to, like, get my flooring redone in my house. You own a home. You're able to get your flooring redone. There are people that have no homes today. They have nowhere to sleep tonight, right? I don't know where to pick. You know, my husband wants to go out to dinner. I don't know where to pick tonight. I mean, this is something that all couples argue about, right? But, like, God, he always wants to go here. And I ask him, you get to go out to dinner with your husband. Do you have a husband? Some people don't even have partners, will never have partners in their life, you know? On and on and on. It's really all, to me, about gratitude and looking at the world from a point of gratitude. Sometimes if we take the things that we've gone through, if we take the biggest struggles in our life and we look at them, and it makes us appreciate each and every day and each and everything that happens to us in a completely different way. It gives us a new attitude for looking at the world. And that's how I want to look at the world, you know? I want to look at the world with joy and happiness today. I don't want to look at the world and everything that's going on in my life. I mean, what do you do then if you get to the end of your life and it's just all complaints? You know? It's all complaints, right? And I will tell you, like, one of the things that's interesting to me is, like, a lot of my friends that have young kids, and I get it, I totally get it, right? But they'll be like, oh, these kids are driving me crazy, especially in the summer, right? Like, it's kind of funny to me because I get it, right? They're like, oh my God, I cannot wait till school starts, these kids are driving me crazy. But my go-to is, I always remember, like, when I, like, moved into my first apartment, and I remember my mom being like, you're not my little guy anymore. Like, you're all grown up. And she's like, I feel like it was just yesterday and you were leaving for first grade. And it happens so fast, right? You know, I can remember the day that I met my husband. And, you know, August, it will be 16 years. It flies by that fast. You know, it really, really does. And we're none of us promised tomorrow. I don't know about you, but I don't want to spend any of my time complaining over things that don't deserve the attention to be complained about, you know? And I know so many people that have gone through so much shit in their lives and don't say a word about it. And that, to me, like, they are literal role models for me because they handle life with grace. Now, I'm not there yet. I don't do that all the time. And I do complain about things from time to time, but I don't want to do that all the time, you know? I love people that handle life with complete grace and respect for each and every day that they're given, you know? And that's what I aim for. Like I said, I'm not there yet, but I aim for it. Anyway, let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.